What is up, One Piece boys and girls? We just got back from Gencon and we had an absolute blast with the boys. I'm Kush, and this deck took me to top 100 in both days of Gencon for the actual regional itself and then just the Treasure Cup as well. Basically, leader was absolute insanity. I ended up beating 5 categories, which would actually in testing turned out to be my hardest matchup. During the regional, it was my easiest matchup. Both my losses, day one, were to a Zoro player and to a Kinemon player. That's not true. Actually, day one, I lost only to a Lucci player in round 1, and then the Kinemon player, the Lucci player that I lost to in round 1 ended up dropping, which pushed me down from top 64 to top 100. I made 80th there. And then in day 2, my only losses were a green kid deck that I was not ready for, just got completely high rolled, and then I lost to Zoro in the second round of the tournament. So leader, if you guys don't know, when you pop a card, he can restand himself. So a lot of the times you're swinging for 7 or 9, popping something, and then restanding for game. A lot of the times, because we're playing both the CP9 version and the Navy package, our board state can look a little overwhelming for our opponent, and we can just start turning cards sideways for 7s and 9s very, very, very quickly. So let's just get into our main searching for the deck. We have 4 brand new and 4 Spandams. I played 19 and 21, 21 Navies and 19 CP9s. So I'm more likely to whiff on the CP9s, but I believe I only whiffed 3 times in the entire regional, which was in one game. I played against Brian Reed, my boy from the Discord, for the Hermit style. I played 3 Spandams back to back. Each one of them missed. It was the saddest thing, but we still ended up getting there. Then we play our 2Ks, which is going to be our Suru and our Tagishi. And sometimes if your opponent has cards that you just want to clear really badly, this playing the 1 drop to minus something for 2, or the 3 drop to minus something for 2 and rest it consistently, makes this basically a pseudo blocker on board. You turn it sideways and your opponent has to deal with it. So for the Navy package, we play 4 Kusus, 4 Borsalinos, and 4 Sakazukis. They're just all insane, basically. Kuzu draws you a card, minuses a card, 4K. My biggest regret all tournament was actually not leaving him active and swinging with him later in the game, because he ended up dying too soon and there was no way to get around like a Eustace kid that you just can't clear. MVP of the entire day, 100%, was Borsalino turning sideways. Most players were not ready for this card to turn sideways for 5 or even 7, which in turn he did his job, and then they still attacked into him next turn, because he's just a threat on board. And then after a lot of testing, 4 Sakazukis, you wanted to see it. We were wanting to test it really, really badly, and it just did phenomenal all weekend long, especially in the yellow matchups and the red matchups. Just being able to clear basically anything, and then putting a 7K with an easy 2 Dawn to make it a 9K swing was just super, super impressive. And again, he just turned into a pseudo blocker. 2 E-shows. This actually won me one of my category games. I literally just pitched one, make my opponent think I was pitching one of my only copies I had, and I ended up finding one off the top, played it anyways, and ripped out a Big Mom. So they were just too far behind. CP9 cards for the day. Obviously, you're playing 4 Fukuro, 3 Bluno, and 4 Kaku. We were playing the Eridor variant. However, Eridor was just, I don't know, it just felt too inconsistent. If I wanted to play it on my turn 2 going second, which would put me at 4 Dawn, there wasn't ever enough in the drop to have Kaku live. And then Bluno was only really finding Fukuro. So, I forgot. So you have your 4 2Ks, which ended up actually being a target for Bluno like half the time anyways, because for 1 Dawn she's a 5, and so it's just required. Your opponent has to kill her, basically. Very consistent. I don't think I would change much of any of that either. And then 3 shockwaves and 2 meteor volcanoes. Shockwave won me my one of my 3 smoker matchups, or 4 smoker matchups, I should say, in day 1. Just having this in life is super unexpected for your opponent and just puts them really far behind, especially if they have a battle card they were hoping to swing with, which is what happened. This was my last life. They had 2 Borsalinos on board. Swung with 1 Borsalino, and I ended up popping the other one for game, basically, with a blocker on board. And then my MVP tech card of the entire weekend it probably won me 7 matchups all weekend, was basically attaching 4 Dawn or 2 Dawn even to Lucci, so 2 to 4, swinging with a bunch of your other cards. So you just rip cards out of your opponent's hand, leaving 2 up. And before you pass, your opponent's like, okay, that 2 Dawn is literally just for Shockwave. And then you just slam down Meteor Volcano on one of their 1-drops. It just catches your opponent off guard. And then you can restand your leader and just swing for that last 9. Just makes it very, very unexpected. So I would not change anything in the deck list, actually. We were testing 3 Sakazukis. We figured it out to 4. I think the biggest thing is just more testing against green, because black does have, it seems it had a hard time all weekend against green because we didn't prep for it too much. But just getting those lines, those matchups and reps available to us, and then just making sure we're playing and we're practicing for longer durations of tournaments. The biggest thing I was losing to all weekend was my stamina. I was not ready to play in 9-10 rounds multiple days back to back after driving for 10 hours. But we still got there. We still did a lot of good things. We didn't get our invite. However, I'll be honest, for my first regional ever, this did fantastic. So if you guys have any questions, let me know down below. Otherwise, like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, guys.